let's talk what you know about currency conversion. So why do we do it?
Because all the money is different values in different places.
So it's not one-to-one, is it?
No.
So I can't go with my $1 into somewhere in Europe and expect it to be worth the same as €1. Right. Any ideas? This is not my area of expertise, by the way, so I'm literally asking, anyone know why $1 and €1 are not worth the same thing? Any ideas? Any opinions? Would it not make sense just to go, oh, well, I understand why they're euros because they're in Europe, and American dollars, I don't know why dollars, but why can't a Mars bar just cost $2 here and €2 in Europe? Why?
Different values.
But why?
Inflation and inflation.
Excuse me, is your hand raised?
Sorry.
I did not think so.
Come on, Sienna. Come on, Sienna.
I think that it's because of inflation and deflation.
Wow. And I think this is because that the economy, you know, you never know what if it falls in one place and not the other place, then you have a problem.
Oh, right. Like I said, not my area of expertise. Do you know things like, you'd probably be much better at this than me. I don't get inflation. I don't understand why we need it. Why do things get more expensive?
She said because
Stock market or something.
Oh, I get why, like, it's more expensive than somewhere else, but why, for instance, does it cost me $2 to buy a banana one day, and then 3 years down the line it's now $3 to buy the same banana? Because that's inflation, right?
yeah,
You're-
more less supply, more demand.
But why can't we all just be nice to each other and just say, right, bananas will always cost $2?
Well, because then the
yeah,
economy
more less
would.
happens.
Why would the economy?
Because then the banana people
It's
aren't
the
making enough money.
But why?
So they can't buy jam and they can't get
But-
the meat and they can't live.
But if we all agreed that bananas didn't get more expensive and jam didn't get more expensive and petrol didn't get more
What about-
expensive, then the banana people wouldn't need to put price of bananas up because nothing else would go up.
But the jam people are selfish too.
So basically you're saying the only reason,
It's because the banana people started inflating.
but then it seems
so then
silly
the jam people started
because if bananas go up and jam goes up and petrol goes up, then therefore the value of your money goes down because you can buy less with it. Then you pay rise in your job to cope with that. So you end up with a higher salary, but it buys exactly the same as you could get anyway. Then you're in the same thing. The numbers have just changed. No?
We think we're smart.
The only people that suffer are the people that don't get given the salary rise. So don't the poor people just suffer more and more every time?
Yes. Wait.
Come on.
I think part of it would be that there's not an infinite amount of things that we have, so why like petrol would become more expensive just because there's less.
But it's
less
only more
we can have.
expensive if my salary doesn't go up. But if my salary goes up in line with inflation, then it's technically not more expensive. It's just $1 buys less, but I've got more of them. But
So like, is it because
I
like
don't know, by the way.
no, but like.
You'd have to ask your business teacher or your economics
have
teacher.
that.
We don't have one.
No, this is turning in.
Social studies.
Guys, this is going on YouTube. Careful what you say.
We love
Faven.
But
We
isn't
love
it
the
kind
journey
of like,
Okay, carry on.
is it kind of like weird though because like everything's more expensive in Bermuda, but like don't people make more money for the same jobs here than they do would in like the US or something?
Yeah.
It's not more expensive because everyone's making a larger salary.
But then
Well,
in different
because-
places it is.
Because the what's it called? The inflation doesn't happen ever at the same time.
No.
So like if in like Germany it happens, then my salary goes up. But then you know what you're saying, I can still buy the chocolate bar for the same amount of money, and I can still buy the bananas for the same amount of money, according to me.
Yeah.
But when someone else comes, it's going to cost more money for them.
Yeah.
And when I go somewhere else,
Cheaper for you.
it's cheaper for me. So that's why the currency has like different values.
Yeah, I know that when I go back to England, things seem a lot cheaper for me.
When we went to like Ecuador, everything was like
no,
way
it was
cheaper.
a million times
Oh yeah, because I quite like going to Italy for a pizza, not just because it's Italian pizza, but because it's like super cheap. You know, you give out a big pizza and a coffee, it costs you like.
It might not be cheap to people there.
Well, no, that's the thing.
Because we're like.
Yes, exactly. That's what I mean. So when I convert, but then that's the
We are a
converting.
tax haven. And Bermuda is a tax haven, which
Yeah.
means everything's just bad.
So it's quite nice. For instance, at the moment, I have to transfer my Bermudian dollars back to the UK to pay for a house in the UK, right? And we're going to go into this as it goes. So we're going to start off with just currency conversion, but there's obviously more to do with like commissions and fees and blah, blah, blah. We are just going to do a straight conversion, right? But there's lots going on in finance, you know, that we need to look at. But straight currency conversion. So I'm going to say we're going to look at unit ratios for currency conversion. Do you know what we mean by unit ratio? The unitary method, and how it could link with
How like $1 relates to like.
yeah. So if we've got, let's say, US dollars and to Great British pounds, okay, a unit conversion would be $1 US is worth. Anyone know?
Isn't it like 1.5?
No, let's
I don't
have
know.
a
I
look.
just heard like Neil say that like a year ago.
A year ago,
Wait, what is?
Great British pounds.
Oh, it's 1.4.
So I've got currently that $1 US. I've been up to date. I've got a currency because I need to do. I wait until it's a favourable one. So Great British pounds is 0.7809 at the moment.
Wait.
I knew it was 7 8 because like I looked it up the other day.
Oh, right.
No, but that means that
Now let me
a
ask
Great
you.
British pound is worth more than a US dollar.
I looked it up the
It's
other
worth
day.
more.
I need less to buy something.
Wait, I'm confused.
It's worth more.
So. Okay. Oh, right. But it is less. But it's, oh, so one.
If I need to give you less of what I've got than someone else does, then
No, but you would need. To
mine's
give
more
more.
valuable.
Yeah, you need
Oh, I
to give
thought
more.
the wrong way. That's what I thought.
If I need $3, you'd have to give me more than £3.
No.
No, you'd have to do.
Let's figure
If
that
I
out.
need £3, you need to give me way
What
more US
is-
dollars.
Let's work that out as a question then. What is $3 worth in pounds? How would you do it?
0.7.
So we're using our ratios. 1.
2.3427.
So we get these in pounds.
So if you give me $3, I would give you that many
Right, I was
pounds.
thinking like it has to equal 3.
You sound
No,
like
that's-
You sound like British.
But here's the question then. So for instance, let's say we are buying a can of Coke, and in the US dollars it is $1.50, and in the UK, so Great British pounds, it is £1.50. This might be what you were thinking of, right?
Yeah, that's what
Which currency is more valuable then, should we say, in that situation?
No. That 150 there is worth more than that 150
So
there.
what we need to do is we need to compare, don't we, and say, right, let's work out our conversion and say, right, what is $1.50 in pounds? How do you do it?
0.7.
Yeah, so we just multiply by 1.5 both sides, as we're doing with our ratios. So all that work we did on ratios, just using still. So what have we got? What is it? Okay. So, which can of Coke is more expensive?
They're the same. I don't understand this.
The one in the US.
The one in the...
No,
the one in
the
one
Britain
in
one.
Britain.
The
'Cause
British one is
if
more
I
expensive.
think about it,
No.
if I go and buy a can of Coke in US dollars in the US, it costs me $1.50. But if I convert that into pounds, that is only £1.17. Yeah?
So US dollars.
Is that the calculator?
Wait, no, wait.
If I have to spend £1, so here we go. If I have to spend £1.50, how many dollars would that be in the UK? So let me change the headings a bit.
It's easier to go that way.
Let's have a look at, so I'm in the USA or I'm in the UK and I'm buying a can of Coke. This is how much the Coke costs in dollars. This is how much it costs in pounds in the UK because you use the currency. But I want to try and figure out which one's more expensive. Okay, so I've just worked out that if I pay $1.50 in the USA, that is equivalent to £1.17. So we can already see that's less than I'm having to spend in the UK. Now, what would it be in dollars? So, because we then know that £1.50, how many US dollars would that be? How do you do that? How do you work that one out? Because that's actually a slightly more, because we've got our unit ratio was this one that was nice and easy to work with when we were working out from a US dollar account. Like
Well,
two.
can't we just find out what one?
Yeah, you could.
2.8.
So what would £1 be worth in dollars? How do you do it? So we're using our
Do you
ratios.
have to look it up?
No, because that's the rate. That's what I've got on my phone. I've just given you that right now. That's up to date. You know?
1.28057.
But how do you do it?
Because I did 1 divided by
1 point.
So how many of these are in there? So 1 divided by, so we've got to do 1 divided by 0.7809, and that gives me
1.280573697.
so let's do $1.28. So what would, therefore, now it's nice and easy to work back, what's £1.50? Okay, what's £1.50 but in dollars?
1.9.
Wait, I thought we just did it. It was 1.28.
No, that's for £1.
1.92.
1.92? Okay. Well, now I'm just going to do this 1 multiplied by 1.5, aren't I?
Then you have to do the 1.28 times.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So knowing the unit ratio really helps, whether it's both ways, yeah? So it's quite nice. Whenever you do a question, you know you're going to have to convert both ways. It's nice to have these two unit ratios there to refer to. Right, and you can work everything out nice and easily, doesn't it? So again, let's just confirm then. So the price that you will actually pay, not actually, but I'm saying that you would pay, you would actually pay $1.50 and £1.50. All right. In the USA, the equivalent would be only having to spend £1.17. In the UK, that's $1.92 or $1.90. Right. So, where is more expensive, the UK or the USA? The UK is more expensive.
Wait,
Okay.
okay. Let me go through this.
Oh, it's more expensive for people.
Yes.
Okay.
So if I go to,
That's 117.
Yes, it's equivalent to that. Same thing in the UK, the 150 in pounds is equivalent to that.
now do you think that's a realistic situation, that USA is $1.50 and the UK is £1.50, or do you think they would never do that because that's wrong?
I don't think
It
you're
might.
realistic.
Depends.
I thought we just went over it.
Sienna?
Oh, I actually have a question not about that. But so when it says 1 to 0.7809,
Yeah.
is that like, are they both in dollars?
No, so that's $1 will give me 0.789 pounds. That's
so
why.
it's not like £1. It's not like £1. Like okay, so like
The way you're trying to say it, you're struggling because you know it's not making sense.
no, it is
Yeah,
making
it's
sense.
$1.
I think she's asking is that 0.78 and
Oh,
0.09
I know what
of
you're
a
saying.
dollar
Yeah.
worth?
No, it's
GBP.
that many pounds.
Yeah, that's
and
what
that
she
was
asked.
$1. Think back to what ratios are again.
Think about like dogs and cats. You can't have that
Yeah.
many parts of a dog as a cat.
Oh, that is what just happened?
Yeah, that's not a great one.
They're two completely different things.
So let's think of it. There is another word. Guys, listen. Let's have a look at another thing, which is the exchange rate. What's a rate? Yes, a rate is the way something changes. So if I change the amount of dollars I have, the pounds will change in this way. So if I double my dollars, I go from 1 to 2. My pounds will go from 0.78 to double that. Yeah, they will maintain that ratio, right? So think about it. If I want to be equivalent, let's say I own a business, right? And so let me just refresh the screen a little bit. Let's give you another example. So let's do Bermudian dollars and Swiss francs.
Why is that CHF?
Canton Helvetii is Switzerland.
I don't want to know anymore.
And francs.
I don't
That's what
wanna know
Switzerland
why
used to be
it's
called.
like that.
Wait,
Alright.
isn't a Bermuda dollar the same as American?
Ah, it's not. No.
It's not?
Yeah, it's
So
not.
when I pay in American bills, I'm paying more?
No.
Yeah.
What? No, it's equal.
It's not.
They're not equal.
What? This is gonna lie. So when my shirt costs $50 and I pay with an American 50, I'm losing money?
So when you're in Bermuda, if you've got Bermudian dollars, spend them. Never give over a US dollar bill.
Because you can use the US dollars in the US.
Yeah.
But I don't
Plus
they're
the
not
value
valid.
is no, they are
What's the
slightly
value?
different.
Can you look it up?
Well, they are kind of said it is 1-to-1 on here, but
You can use the.
no, the next thing we're going to talk about, which is not today, there is a buying and selling rate. So for instance, the actual exchange rate is 1-to-1, Bermuda dollars. But however, if I want to have US dollars, so if you want to go to the bank and get US dollars out of the machine, you can do that, right? But you will notice if you look at your statement, that the bank will not give you 1-to-1 because technically US dollars are not our currency. So for the bank to have US dollars, it costs them, right? So they pass that charge on to you. So it's not exactly the same. So if you ever want to get US dollars out because you are going to America, they will charge you for giving you those. So you won't be exactly 1-to-1. You will pay a fee. All right?
But if it wasn't for the fee, then they would.
Then yeah, it should be
So
1-to-1.
it's just.
Or I would say they aren't technically because I can't. It costs me. Like the thing is, I don't know whether you know. I've got a credit card from HSBC, and it's a US dollar credit card, right? Which means all my transactions are in US dollars, right? And I thought that's great because I can use that in America when I go. Thought brilliant, absolutely no. And of course, there's no problem with spending US dollars in Bermuda. But this is again, we want to talk about this in another lesson, but they hammer me 3 times, I think, with charges. So if I buy something in Bermuda on my US dollar credit card, they charge me for paying in US dollars. All right? I then pay off my credit card using Bermuda dollars. So they charge me to pay off the US dollars with Bermudian dollars. So I actually pay. So when I pay with my Bermudian dollar, so basically, US dollars are best in America, right? So if a Bermuda bank has American dollars, they've had to buy those from America. So to have a stock of a foreign currency, they have had to buy them from the other country. So for you to go to a bank and ask for euros and the bank hands over euros, have you never wondered how they've got euros?
But isn't that it's the same everywhere? So
Yeah.
if you're in like France or whatever, and you
Yes,
go
exactly.
to the ATM,
Yeah.
it's not what it's not.
Yeah, so you get charged. Yeah? You get charged all. That's how they make money. Anyway, let's have a quick look. So I was going to say this example. So Bermuda dollars, Swiss francs. I've got one Bermuda dollar is worth 0.9562 Swiss francs. Okay. They're not far off. But let's say I'm a businessman and I've got an insurance company in Bermuda and I've got an insurance company in Switzerland. I've got two offices of the same company, right? And I want to pay my people an equivalent similar salary. So they're going to be different numbers, but basically I want them to be paid the same thing. Does that make sense? So let's say, for instance, I am going to pay someone 104,262 Bermuda dollars. All right?
Why would you? That's such a big weird number.
Oh no, that's a normal. That salaries in Bermuda could be about that. Could be way above. Can be way below.
Why 62?
But like why 62 and like?
Oh, because you have things come out like you're in insurances and certain payroll taxes. We don't do payroll tax, but your health insurance comes out and little. They take lots out of your pension payments. They take money to put in a pension for you. So you don't.
You don't want.
Well, you don't have a choice, right? How much would I pay my employee in Switzerland to make sure that both people basically get the same amount of money?
99,690.
And how did you do it?
Multiply the 0.9562 times 1.
So we're going to multiply by 104,262 because that's what I did to go from one Bermuda dollar to that. So what was it again?
99695.32.
Okay, and they put their CHF on the end. There's no symbol on the front.
So weird.
Not every country has a symbol to go on the front. All right. So those two numbers are different but equivalent. Right? And I can tell you that Switzerland and Bermuda are pretty comparable in terms of how much things cost.
They're both expensive.
Yeah. Now, I'll give you my two things, right? So, assuming I'm on a salary that's about equivalent to what I got in Switzerland, because I was in Switzerland for a while, right? Let's assume my salary, I'm not going to tell you what it is, not that I care, but it's not, you don't need to know, right? What I'm going to tell you is the rent that I pay on my apartment I had in Switzerland and the place I have here, all right? I try not to spend too much. And I want to tell you to tell me which place is more expensive in terms of rental. Got it? So, in Switzerland, my rental was 1,500 Swiss francs a month. In Bermuda, my rental is 2,550 Bermuda dollars. Okay. So, assuming my salary is equivalent, like those two numbers, about the same values, tell me where was I better off? Okay guys, what have you got? So the easiest one to go with is this one, let's work out how many francs it is. So we just take the 1 and we multiply by 2550. Okay, and I get how many francs?
2438.31.
So our first conclusion is, well, if I was only paying that much, then my rental in Switzerland was significantly lower, yeah? Let's just confirm that. So this should be a lot lower in Bermuda dollars as well. So what number did you get here and how did you get it?
Well, I did 1,500 divided by the 0.9562.
So 1,500 divided, that tells me how many ones I would have. And you get the answer?
No, he's asking for the middle one. Oh, well.
No, I'm not. That's it.
7095.
Okay. So you can see quite clearly that when I was paying that much rent in Switzerland, that's how many dollars it would have been. But I'm actually paying that, and that's how many francs. So I am better off in Switzerland in terms of my rental. Okay, assuming that my salaries were equivalent. Now, in reality, that wasn't okay. I mean, those numbers are as they were, by the way. But there was lots of other things in Switzerland that I had to pay for. Right? And there's a lot less that I have to pay for in Bermuda, like the tax and things like you were talking about. Right? Switzerland charged me lots of insurance. Did that work? Is that all right? Right, let me give you the next kind of step on then. All right, a kind of problem. So let's look at, we've got Bermuda dollars, okay, to Canadian dollars, okay? And one Bermuda dollar, I can tell you, anyone have an idea what you think one Bermuda dollar is? In Canadian dollars? It's 1.3351 at the moment. Okay. And then we've got Canadian dollars. I don't know, can I? Let's maybe look at something else. We're going to do one Canadian dollar is worth one Canadian dollar is worth 0.5852 pounds. Okay. Okay, and then Bermudian dollar is worth, I think we've already said this one, give me the exact numbers here, 0.9562 francs. Okay, I have 130 pounds. How many francs will I get?
Oh my god.
So guys, what would be your root? Not your answer. What would be your root? What do you have to work out?
How many
Sam.
Canadian dollars? One Canadian dollar.
Sam, thank you. So we want to know one Bermudian dollar is worth how many Canadian dollars? But we've got that.
The other way around, right? How many Canadian dollars is worth one Bermudian? Wait, no. How many? One Canadian dollars with how many Bermudians?
We don't
We have that.
No, we don't.
No, one Canadian is worth how many Bermudians? It's like 7.
So I want pounds to francs. I know, right? I've got Bermudian dollars to francs. So what I need to do is convert Bermudian dollars into pounds. That's what I want. I need Bermudian dollars into
It's gonna be a
pounds.
little rounding.
And then I can change, then I can use this, can't I? Or sorry, other way around, isn't it? I need pounds into Bermudian dollars. So I need this pounds in how many Bermudian dollars do I have? Because then I can use it here. Yeah? And I can do that by using my Canadian. You get that?
Pounds, Canadian.
Yeah. So if we think about it, I've got 130 pounds. So how many Canadian is that?
130 divided by
Where did
So
you get
I'll-
130 from?
My question.
I did 150, everyone.
So we've got 130 divided by the 0.5852. Because I want to know how many of them make that, and then that tells me of how many of. Okay, what do we get?
222.146, so 1.5.
Okay. Got that? So now, that's how many Canadian dollars I've got. Starting at the one. So now I can put that here, 222.15 Canadian dollars. How many Bermudian dollars is that? Okay. So I've got 222.15 divided by 1.3351 gives me
1.5. You wrote 1.5 and 5. Oh, never mind. I'm sorry. I'm confused.
160. Okay. So now I know down here I've got 166.39 Bermudian dollars. I've converted pounds into Bermudian dollars because that's the one that I've got. So now I need to figure out if I've got that many Bermudian dollars, how many francs is it? So we do 0.95 multiplied by 166.39 and I get the answer.
1. I used more decimals and I got 174.01.
Go on, what was your answer, Neil? And what did you get?
0.01.
174 to 159?
I used.
Okay, well no, it's good. I just wanted to check. So, first of all, before we go, are you happy that that's how many francs we've got? 174. All right? Second thing is, why do we have these two answers? Okay, this is our crit D thing, which is, does it matter rounding?
Yes.
I'm sure we've told the story before about the banker that got put in prison for life because what he did was he collected all the decimal places on computers and made millions. It wasn't an actual amount of money until you start putting it all together. All right, and you can already see in one transaction you've made $15. All right, and he was talking hundreds, thousandths of a cent, but do that millions of times. Millions upon millions, lots of transactions happening in a bank. That's what happens. Okay, so it does matter.